We begin this hour with President Trump, who will soon head to Argentina for the G20 summit. His trip comes as tensions escalate over America's support for Saudi Arabia in Yemen's devastating civil war. The Trump administration warns the president would possibly veto a resolution ending U.S. military support for Saudi Arabia in that conflict.
There's also growing backlash over the Crown Prince's role in the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. CBS News chief White House correspondent Major Garrett is in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So, Major, the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will also be at the G20 summit this weekend. I believe he's already in Argentina. Will the president meet with him?
The president said he would. That's a quote. He would, but there's nothing on the schedule. And certainly any kind of meeting, even a small encounter, would generate tremendous news coverage both here and internationally, as the president is under mounting criticism at home expressed by that joint resolution pushed forward, advanced by the U.S. Senate yesterday in a bit of a surprise to the White House and the Republican leadership, questioning this administration's solid support of the Saudi regime and the president's unwillingness to say what the CIA has said, that in all likelihood, the Crown Prince, the heir apparent to lead Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, was directly involved and had knowledge of the effort to lure Jamal Khashoggi to the Saudi consulate in Turkey and knew about the effort once he was inside to kill him. There are many members of Congress, some on the Republican side, who just are dissatisfied, so dissatisfied with the administration's response that there could be a conflict legislatively in the not-too-distant future. But the Senate would have to pass that resolution. The House would have to do the same. And if the president vetoes it, then you'd have a significant foreign policy clash over this president and a still lame-duck Republican Congress about underlying human rights and the future of the U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia. So nothing on the schedule here. I think it would be difficult under all of the circumstances I've just described for the president to carve out time in what is already a pretty packed schedule of meetings with other world leaders to find time to see the Crown Prince. So it seems highly unlikely. And one side note, this isn't really going to go anywhere here in Argentina, but there are laws here that allow prosecutors to at least look into the possibility of bringing a case against the Crown Prince for human rights violations. Probably won't matter much, but it has generated some publicity here, and that just gives you a sense that the Jamal Khashoggi story is not just one that is still playing out in Washington, it's playing out here at the margins of the G20.
And in addition to all that, Major, as you know, the president is facing a list of other challenges this weekend. He's set to hold major meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin. He is tweeting up a storm about the special counsel's efforts. In fact, he retweeted a tweet that showed numerous leaders of this country, including former presidents and his deputy attorney general behind bars, treason, Rod Rosenstein. What do you assess? How do you see this?
Well, the president has long argued that special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation weakens him on the world stage, and the intensifying sense of drama about what the special counsel will or will not do in terms of future indictments. What is the true meaning of all of the conversations that have arisen in the press in the last week or so about Roger Stone, longtime friend and political ally of President Trump's, Jerome Corsi? Was he going to plead? What do the filings from the special counsel indicate about the future direction of this investigation? And quite clearly, the president's visible agitation on Twitter about where the special counsel might be heading. All of that comes with him here to Buenos Aires for the G20. And the president says those kinds of questions and drama around the special counsel make it more difficult for him to pursue U.S. interests on a global stage, such as we will find him on here at the G20. But that's a reality he has to deal with. And you mentioned China and Russia. Let me just deal with China very briefly. The administration made it very clear this week through its top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, that President Trump, despite efforts on his part to forge a personal relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping, is deeply dissatisfied with the Chinese indifference and slow walking of administration attempts to change the fundamental relationship between U.S. business and China. The trade talks have stalled. There is some hope that here in Buenos Aires, at a dinner Saturday night, the two leaders can break the logjam. But if not, this trade skirmish now going on between the United States and China could move towards something approximating a full-blown trade war as the president threatens more tariffs. China has said it will impose more tariffs, and that tariff process, if not slowed or stopped here in Buenos Aires, might be accelerated as soon as the first part of 2019. As for Vladimir Putin, the naval aggression by Russia against Ukraine over the weekend has put some uncertainty around two scheduled meetings here between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. The president said he might cancel them, that there's going to be a response he's going to have to that Russian aggression over the weekend. No formal word from the White House as to whether or not those two meetings are still on or off, but they seem to be in a slightly more precarious position than they were a week ago. Vlad, Anne-Marie?
Major, thank you so much. We appreciate it.